Welcome back to Stormworks Unlimited. I think I found an unlimited energy glitch, but I'm not sure. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So I was building a windmill out of the blue, and it's turning, and the wind is on zero. I am producing electric power with nothing, no power sources right now, and I'm not sure how I did it. But before we get into that, let's just see what this windmill can do. So I don't even have it turned on, so I'll go ahead and turn it on. And kind of a funky glitch that has happened is from 0 to like 35% wind, the windmill is completely unaffected. And I'm not really too sure why. I'm still generating right about the same amount of power I was when I looked at it earlier. Around 2.2, it just constantly generates power. And if you look, the taper of the fins, the windmill is actually turning backwards, which is weird. But if I get it over 40, you'll see the wind starts to take hold of those fins and turn it around. It's actually a pretty effective windmill. I started making this thing because I just couldn't find any on the workshop that I liked that produced any power. So I was like, well, I think I can do better than 7, 8, 10 watts or whatever the figure is that Stormworks uses for power generation. I'll just call it watts. There was like all the ones I saw were like less than 10 watts. So I built my own. Of course, I didn't have to make it this big, but I did for the fun of it. And at 41% wind, I'm producing 100 watts of power, which is really good. And I was testing and messing with things and testing, and I turned the wind off, and it just never stopped turning. It was really weird. So I can turn it up to, once I hit that certain amount, I don't really produce anymore. I can actually turn on turn off low smoke mode, and it makes the tires up there squeal like hell, but I do produce a little bit more power. So I'm producing 110 watts at 100% wind, which I think is pretty good. I don't know, maybe you guys have a better one, but yeah, let's get back to the whole random infinite power thing. We'll do it again here. I'll turn the windmill back off. I mean, there's nothing. Only thing that does is affect the pitch of the blades. I can leave it on. I can leave it off. It doesn't matter. And you'll watch it. It'll actually start turning backwards. There's no wind at all. There's no external inputs whatsoever. It does this. It'll turn a little bit, stop, and then it'll be like, oh, you turn a little more. And it does take it a minute to get up to that 2.3 that we were looking at earlier. It'll do this for a while. For some reason at like 1% wind, it just kicks right up and goes, but I honestly don't know what I did. So I'm going to jump up there and show you guys how this thing is built. Hopefully we can see it in here. So for a crankshaft, you can see I'm actually spinning medium electric motors with this. That's all it's turning. The flywheel is just for looks, but it's turning a whole stack of medium motors with tires driving on top of it. And I honestly think this suspension is what's driving this, which makes no sense because there's no adjustments or there's nothing inputted to any of this stuff. Somehow or another, I'm actually making more power than what I'm using, which, believe it or not, it actually does take some electricity to run all this stuff, these pivots or these hinges and whatnot that's in here. And once again, just so you guys, let's put it at 0. Put it down to 0 wind. It's spinning good now. I bet I'm back to 2.2, 2.3 watts again. Yep. No idea how I did it. Other than those hinges perfectly set to where it just rotates around those motors that are spinning. It's probably because the suspension bottom's out right here. Dink, and then it's enough to push it. As you can see, motors aren't round. Nothing in the game is technically round except other tires, but that's why I went with the suspension. And I just think it's so cool, that accidental glitch discovery. This is a pivot, but nothing's hooked up to it. It's just, there's not even any power hooked up to it. I'm not running infinite electric. In fact, if I do, I think it'll turn it off. No, it's at 0 strength. So I just thought this was so cool that I'm generating power from nothing. So I'm going to leave a link in the workshop to this. You have to put it in as an add-on. Weird glitchy stuff happens and it just goes flying. But it comes in as an add-on as a static object, as an add-on, so it can't really move. Let me turn this up and turn a little bit of wind on here, and I can actually, it will adjust itself into the wind. It's got a little wind directional indicator there, and it produces pretty good power for Windmill. I mean, yeah, it's huge, but I mean, the whole bottom, there's nothing in it. It's a solid chunk of weight blocks is all this thing is, with a couple batteries down there. So it could be made quite a bit smaller, but I just like the looks of the big, like, farm style windmill, so that's what I went with. And well, I hope you guys like this thing. I mean, I don't even know. I still don't really know what I did. I think I just got, like, super weird lucky, producing power from nothing. I can't even tell you what starts the turning on this thing. You know what? Let's do this. Let's get the add-on editor and just test it again. Oh, stop turning. Shouldn't have put the wind on. 0 wind. So as you can see, it's already started doing a full turn. That time it kicked right on. The only thing I could think of that's creating the, like I said, the strength or the rotational power here is that suspension takes less power to move than what is actually being generated by it moving it, which is pretty cool. I think that's a really interesting way of creating mystery power. So if you're interested in how this thing works, I'll just explain it real quick. This is just on a pivot, the rotating mass here, and then it's just a bunch of motors, medium-sized engines, motors stacked to a windmill. Up here, we just have a robotic hinge, which takes the rotational power of the tires that's rubbing on this thing and converts it to RPS. Runs through 2 gearboxes, splits, and then you can't see the pipes, but because they're enclosed pipes, it just goes to that, and that's literally all this thing is. As far as the rotating into the wind, it's just a regular old velocity pivot with a PID hooked to this. So that is the gist of what this thing is. When I turn this on, it just toggles the number to whatever the pitch is on those blades, but as you can see, it makes 0 difference. I got a microcontroller upside down. Yeah, I'm going to drop a link into the workshop here. There's no way this thing should be generating power right now. At 0%. It says I'm at wind speed of 0.01, but I think it's being created by the blades. Not certain. Either that or it's creating its own wind somehow. Let's look at this real quick. See, this thing's not even spinning. Somehow or another, the movement of this thing is making it do stuff. I really don't know. So you guys should take a look and let me know what you think. Hope you enjoy this video. Stay tuned for the next one.